My name is Desiree Collins, and I'm a sales executive here at Avalara. So we just want to walk you through sort of what our software is capable of doing. So Avalara has an OEM agreement with Sage, so we know our solution works within the Sage environment. You can see here that we connect into Sage 100 all the way up through Sage Intacct. So whether you're on 100 today and potentially looking at Intacct, or have already moved to Intacct or staying on 100, we have the capabilities to work with all of your systems. The goal here with using Sage Sales Tax is to integrate seamlessly, drive efficiencies, stay compliant, reduce risk, and become scalable with your business. So as your business grows, Avalara will grow with you. This here is a conceptual diagram of how our solution is working. So we start with our tax research to understand the taxability of the products and services that you guys have to offer to your customers. We then have a digital repository of all of your exemption certificates. So we turn paper into pixels to make sure that we have the ability to gather those exemption certificates and provide them to anyone if needed. We will also hook into your ERP or your e-com system, anywhere where you do a quote, bill, or invoice, to be able to do a tax determination. Once we do that, all this information is going to live in the cloud, and so our team will be able to take a look at the exempt sales as well as the taxable sales to do the sales tax returns filings for you. Not only do we do the filings, but we do the remittance as well. So we'll go into a little bit deeper discussion about all these solutions here. Avalara Tax Research is a web-based tool, so it does not actually touch the Sage environment, but within this tool, you have an easy-to-read yes or no, this is taxable or this is not taxable, but we also provide the legislation to go with that. So just in case you have a customer who's asking, hey, why did you tax me that way? Or if you're going through an audit and the auditor wants to know why you taxed the way you did, you'd be able to provide the legislation to them. If you're in this tool and you have a little bit more of a question that's specific to your business, you have the ability to reach out to our tax experts, where you would type the question that's specific to your business. They will then respond to you in about 24 to 48 hours. They are not going to Google, they're actually talking to the states anonymously, so that we make sure, again, we're providing that legislation to you. Once we have the research done with the Avalara Tax Research tool, we'll use that to help map all of your products over to an Avalara tax code. So when you go through the setup of the system, you're going to tell us where you are collecting sales tax, which customers are yours are considered tax exempt, and then we'll take the taxability of your products and services into consideration. So this here is actually what's happening on the back end. You never have to look at this, but if you wanted to take a look at how we're arriving to our tax determination, this is what it would look like. So we take the ship from address and the ship to address, and we're actually going to turn this ship to address into a lat long. A lot of people don't know this, but using zip codes can have overlapping taxing jurisdictions. And so we want to make sure that we're actually looking at a pinpoint on the map. So based on the information you provided during the implementation, we will go through this automated decision tree for every line item on every invoice. So are you collecting tax here? Is your customer taxable? And then is the product or service taxable? If at any given point we see no, we're just going to put $0 back on the invoice. So here in this example, it's yes across the board. And so at this specific longitude, latitude, these are the jurisdictions that apply. Here are the tax rates, and the dollars and cents are going to go back onto the invoice. So no longer do you have to keep up with tax schedules or tax tables. The only tax code will be AvaTax, so that your engine knows to ping our engine on every invoice. If the customer is considered tax exempt, we will use our solution that we call ECM, which is where we house all of the exemption certificates. So today, if you were to be audited, you'd probably have to go back and say, oh, who did I sell to? And where is that exemption certificate? Is it kept up to date? Is it current? This tool allows you to actually go in, put the dates of where you're being audited. It will pull out the exemption certificates that applied to any of the sales during that process. So it makes for a very streamlined audit if you're ever audited. The question becomes, how do we get those certificates into the tool? So we'll go through a managed services project where we'll go through a software setup. You're going to let us know who your exempt customers are and provide us with what we call clean data. So that is what's the business, a point of contact there, and their email address, and where they're doing business with you. You're going to set up your settings how you like to see them. Then you're going to work with our project plan team, and we will have pre-written emails, but we'll customize it to your business. So we'll make sure we're putting your logo in there. From there, Avalara is going to take over, and we're going to do a series of email campaigns to go get those exemption certificates. So if your customer is going to get an email from us, it's going to look like it's coming from you, but there will be a link in there where they actually they'll click it and it'll take them over to what we call Cert Express. We will already have some of the business information, specifically where they do business, but they're going to let us know why they are considered tax exempt, which will populate the correct form. Once they get the form, they're going to fill it out, adding their tax ID number, signing it, and doing all of that. They're going to send it back to our team. If at any point in time they have a question, our team will actually take over answering that, so your team does not get bogged down with having to answer questions for the customers. When we get the exemption certificate back, we're going to do a few things. We're going to make sure it's complete. There's nothing missing. We're going to do a tax ID verification for as deep as the state will allow us. So some states only let us look at the configuration of the tax ID, and then some of us will actually allow to match the tax ID to the business name. Then we're going to upload it into the system, and once we upload it into the system, we'll attach the expiration date. A lot of folks don't realize that most of the exemption certificates do actually expire. From there, we have the maintenance program, which will allow us to know which exemption certificates are coming due for expiration, and then we'll go through that same process to make sure we get a new certificate on file. You're just going to let us know how preemptive do you want us to be in that outreach to your customer. Do you want us to do it 90 days before expiration, or 30 days? So we'll work with you just to understand what you want that time frame to look like. Then we have the managed returns, and so this is very similar to outsourcing your payroll. If you owe $100,000 in 10 states, we'll do one lump sum withdrawal of that $100,000 and pay each of the states out individually. We also have an on-time filing guarantee. One of the greatest features in the dashboard is that we have this economic nexus heat map. And so any states that you are not yet registered in, we're going to look at the sales that you're having in those states to see if you're approaching economic nexus in those states. And so at 80% of economic nexus thresholds, you would have this light orange color pop up. At 90% of the threshold, you'd have this darker color. You'll have an account manager who's going to do an outreach to let you know, hey, you're getting close. Do you want us to help get you registered? Or you can just see it on the dashboard. And then if you want to get registered, you'll go ahead and just add to cart to do a checkout. We will never preemptively register you. We wait for you to tell us you're ready. Once you're ready, you'll have a portal that you'll log into where you'll give us some business information, some demographic information about your business. And then we do what we need to do within 5 to 7 business days to get you registered. And then we're at the mercy of the state to get you set up. They'll contact you to say, hey, you've been registered, and then you're just going to let us know that you've got that registration information, and then we'll start charging sales tax in those states as well.